So going back to the early days, as far as like kind of reaching some of the kind of collectors, right? Like what are some of the ways that you did that and kind of solve like the cold start problem and then maybe continue to do so in each kind of category through expansion?
Yeah. I mean, so right now the cold start problem is less of a problem for us because we have a pretty large buyer and seller base. But in the early days, you have to like do everything and anything. And it's like quite painful and quite hacky. We initially bootstrapped almost all of the supply on Whatnot. We built like a pricing algorithm for a Funko Pop. And this is another reason to start very, very narrowly, is the narrower you start, the easier it is to meaningfully solve some of these problems, like the cold start problem. Like had we gone multi-category in the early days, which again, 9 times out of 10, I'm sure there's an exception. You're unlikely to be the exception. But 9 times out of 10, I was just focus because it's so hard. So like I was able to build a pricing algorithm for Funkos. And what we would do is a lot of the inventory and Whatnot, if someone bought it, we would then go buy it on eBay, and then the value add was like we'd authenticate it. So I became like the world's #1 Funko Pop authenticator, and I still am today. I consider that my proudest Whatnot achievement. So you could come to Whatnot in the early days, and you had the largest inventory of authenticated Funko Pops in the world. And part of the reason, again, I'd advocate for like narrowness is if we went to 2 categories, we couldn't have achieved that. And so then we did that. And then we were worried, and we built up a pretty significant buyer base through that. And that was all sorts of hacky, messy problems too. It's like sounds meter. It's like you screw up your pricing algorithm, people go and find all the deals and mispricing. And so we had to change it all the time. Hard to get inventory. Sometimes stuff breaks. Hugely manual process. I had a team in Brazil who was like buying Funko Pops for me online all the time. They'd get sent to me. I'd be packing them, be doing at night. From like 8 to 12, I'd be like packing Funko Pops, and like during the day, I'd be building the business, etc. Then we had like throttled supply quite a bit because we wanted to make sure people could sell what they put on Whatnot, and we wanted to open that up, but we were too scared we weren't going to get enough sell through. And so managed to convince someone at eBay to give us like all this API access and huge thresholds. And so we built a cross-listing. We basically just built cross-listing software through eBay's API so that anytime a seller came to Whatnot, all of their listings would get displayed on Whatnot and on eBay. So we basically guaranteed as a seller that your sell-through would be higher than eBay. And so by like heavily moderating our platform and then having higher sell-through than eBay, we built the best place to buy and sell Funko Pops. And so we built a pretty large audience and pretty large seller base. And then we layered over the top a live and the social elements, and then the business took off. And I say all that in like, it sounds nice because I can summarize it in a few sentences. Let me tell you, it was really messy. It was really time consuming, and it was like quite painful.
No, I love these stories, right? The things we do as marketplace founders. So might have to go back and revise the intro to say you're the world's largest authenticator, right? So awesome.